Story 1. I like video games and going to the aquarium to stare at fish for hours. I think it's odd that watching shows and movies is considered normal for adults, but playing video games is seen as a lazier hobby. Story 2. I like swinging, but I feel guilty if children in the playground are waiting for a turn. Story 3. I love joking around, and the number of times I was told I was immature or childish is saddening. I like to make things fun and try to make others smile. Story 4. I am a children's therapist, so I often buy toys and say they are for my play therapy room. They are not. They are in my basement for me alone. Story 5. I go to the Lego store at a mall near me and build things in their play area. I'm too broke to buy a set for myself, but someday. Story 6. I'm watching Bluey and telling every adult I know to watch it. It's an incredible cartoon with many valuable lessons we should have learned as children. Story 7. I spent time with my niece and nephew recently, and I enjoyed coloring with them. It's funny how young children are not very careful when coloring. I was laughing out loud. Story 8. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I have taken them to many jobs to eat, and I have always had coworkers laugh at me and call it food for kids. Bro, it is food and it is delicious. I am going to eat one right now because fuck the haters. Story 9. I am speaking to my cat. I swear she understands. She gives me a single blink. She is cool. Story 10. Going to a pool party as an adult and actually getting in the pool. Why does no one do this? Are they anti-fun? Story 11. I am 50. Here is mine original Transformers. I continue to grow my Hot Wheels collection. I am getting into Lego cars. I collect band t-shirts. Story 12. My brothers and I are in our 30s and late 20s, yet we still pull pranks on our mother. Story 13. I like cartoons, playgrounds, stuffed animals, toys from Happy Meals, and more. People say I am childish, but I do not care. Story 14. Playing video games, going to theme parks, and dancing for no reason at all. Story 15. I used to build tree forts. Now, as an architectural designer, my projects are larger and more complex. Story 16. Video games, Lego bricks, coloring, swinging on a swing set, eating Kraft mac and cheese. Story 17. I spent a day riding water slides at the water park. I am in my 70s. Story 18. Approaching life with a sense of curiosity and wonder even though I am almost 40. Story 19. Childish or immature? Naps? That's childish. Staring at my wife's breasts? That's immature. Story 20. Although I vehemently disagree with people who say video games are childish, I love playing them. They are a perfect way to disconnect from the rapidly worsening world around me. Story 21. The best thing about having grandchildren is that they are great playmates. Story 22. I collect Hello Kitty plushies. I have always liked the character. She is so cute. Story 23. I am watching Gabby's Playhouse, so I can talk about something with my great-granddaughter. Story 24. I love playing in children's parks. They're so much more fun than when I was a kid, and if I happen to walk by one, I'll always run through to try the features. Play is really important. Although sometimes considered childish, it keeps you healthy and happy and helps you let go. Story 25. Saying hello to the sun and the moon. Good morning, birdie. I talk to all the animals. Who does not say moo to a cow? No, really. Children do that, I think. Story 26. I carry plush toys around and take photos of their adventures. It's less weird if you bring a human friend. I convinced my dentist to let me take a photo of my plush puffin on the dentist's chair. She joined in the fun and gave him children's goggles and a bib. It made my day. Story 27. I have a Hot Wheels collection, but it is not displayed and I have not added any cars in over a decade. I am a 60-year-old male, for what it's worth. I also play video games. Story 28. My wife often jokes that I prefer to bathe instead of showering. She compares me to our toddler sons. I work 50 hours a week in construction and serving. It's all physical labor. I need to soak in the salts. Story 29. Playing with stuffed animals and teddy bears, listening to nursery rhymes, watching children's shows, and reading children's books. Story 30. Building Lego sets while watching cartoons and eating cereal for dinner. Story 31. Doing some dumb tests with water, or maybe it's science. Story 32. Roller skating in the middle of the night, Xanadu style. I am 52. My heart has been fully battery operated since my 20s. I am on my fourth pacemaker. Try to stop me. I dare you. Story 33. I still love building blanket forts, full of couch cushions, fairy lights, and snacks, the whole vibe. I will throw on a movie or just read in there. It is a total escape from the world. You know what? It is a bit childish, but it makes me feel so chill and cozy. No regrets. Story 34. I don't mind playing video games, collecting cool toys, and many other nerdy things. If I cared what people thought, I would have become a politician. Thankfully, as an American, I can do whatever I want. Story 35. Playing dress-up games was something I was obsessed with as a kid, and I guess I never grew out of it. Story 36. I am a 55-year-old woman who enjoys wearing onesies and has a fun collection. It is almost always cold at night where I live, so we host onesie parties throughout the year. They are comfortable and warm, and they are a low-effort way to wear a costume without assembling one. Story 37. I had crazy school spirit for my hometown's high school sports, especially for the band, since I was a tuba player. Laughing out loud. I always surprised new people at games because I am usually a quieter person otherwise. In high school, I was voted most school-spirited 3 years in a row, served as class president my senior year. A lifelong commitment if no one tells you when you run for it, laughing out loud, and was homecoming queen that same year. I played one of the 2 tubas our school had until my junior year. So school spirit can be seen as childish. I have received those looks recently, laughing out loud, but I sincerely love my hometown, laughing out loud. Story 38. I sleep in on weekends. Many of my coworkers say it's dumb and that I should get up and do something. I run errands and do most activities on weekday evenings, so I can relax or go on adventures on weekends. Story 39. I am 72 years old and still enjoy going to the park and sitting in the swings. Story 40. Gaming. The same family members who sit binge-watching movies and television shows will shun me for playing video games. Story 41. Building a Lego set is how I treat myself when I sign a new client for my personal training business. Story 42. Laughing at fart jokes and physical comedy will always be hilarious to me. Story 43. Collecting stuffed animals. They are cute and soft, and I have money as an adult, so I can do whatever I want. I am buying a squishmallow. Story 44. I am a 33-year-old woman and so far I have been called childish for playing video games, collecting cassette tapes from my favorite childhood audiobook, and baking and eating a lot of decorated cookies as soon as it gets colder. Growing old is inevitable. Growing up is optional. Keep being weird and whimsical. Story 45. Sometimes I take a shortcut through the toy aisle at the store to reminisce. Story 46. I enjoy coloring. I have my own set of colored pencils and coloring books separate from my children. I laugh out loud. Story 47. Sometimes I get a raised eyebrow when I mention my girlfriend's love of building Lego sets. Sorry you're uncool and hate joy, you prehistoric dinosaurs. Story 48. Dungeons and Dragons. Are we supposed to grow up and lose our connection with imagination, wonder, and whimsy, as well as the wanton use of arcane violence to solve all of life's problems, in favor of watching the cable satellite public affairs network? Story 49. A great fart still makes me chuckle, whether by me or by someone else. After raising children and dealing with all bodily functions, it still seems funny. I am a simple person. I also enjoy eating chicken nuggets. Story 50. I recently discovered how amazing the show Little House on the Prairie is. Story 51. Every once in a while I'll read a book I loved when I was a tween, like Judy Blume. Story 52. I enjoy playing video games, watching anime, and other nerdy hobbies such as Dungeons and Dragons. I could go on. Story 53. Playing video games is my guilty pleasure. It is a great way to unwind and connect with friends, even if some think it is just for kids. Story 54. I take particular delight in walking down the toy aisle and pressing the buttons on all the sound and animated toys. I am 66. Story 55. I ate a ring pop the other day. I got teased for it by my friends. Story 56. I enjoy opening blind bags and building Lego sets with my child. Story 57. I like to play. I enjoy video games, playground equipment, carnival rides, arcades, and anything else. It seems like everyone grows up way too fast, and here I am being called immature for insisting that life be fun. I want to build a fort, damn it. What is wrong with everyone? Story 58. Playing video games, I thought that when I got older I would grow out of them, but I did not. Story 59. Building Gunpla model kits and collecting baseball and hockey cards. Story 60. Pretty much everything. I'm the activities director for the kids at every family holiday because I love fun. Story 61. I still like listening to many young adult novels in audiobook format. Story 62. Silly voices. Why are we not allowed to have fun, guys? Story 63. Watch pro wrestling. Yes, it's fake, staged. I don't care. It's my comfort watch. Story 64. Video games, board games, Build-A-Bear and stuffed animals. Story 65. I still watch cartoons. I have 1,000 of them on my phone. Story 66. I enjoy watching Studio Ghibli movies, coloring, and playing The Legend of Zelda games. Story 67. Radio-controlled cars. I own hobby-grade models. People see toys. I see a hobby. Story 68. Playing video games, watching anime, collecting Pokemon cards, and cosplaying. Story 69. I will always jump up and ride the full cart of groceries down the aisle or into the parking lot toward my car. I am 45. Story 70. Being very weird with my twin brother. Story 71. Not caring at all about what other people consider childish. Story 72. I wave at fire trucks. Fast, loud, and red. What's not to love? I'm 64. Story 73. Video games, coloring, collecting horror figures, and squishmallows. Story 74. 43-year-old woman. I pull pranks. It's getting chilly now, and coworkers are bringing light jackets and hoodies. I find them hanging up. It's a good chuckle watching coworkers struggle to put a jacket back on after I tie a knot in a sleeve. I also put random things in pockets like a handful of acorns or a stale pizza crust. Story 75. Sending my bike off some sweet jumps. Growing up is optional. Story 76. Video games. I have always been a gamer, and I will not stop until I develop arthritis so severe that I cannot use a controller. Story 77. I am 25. I still watch the amazing world of Gumball, anime, and play games. Despite bills, taxes, and groceries, life should be enjoyed. I still love reading fan fiction when I am closer to 30 than to 20. Life is great. Story 78. Watching anime and playing video games just for fun. But of course it is childish. That is why I do it. Sorry if I do not want to talk about the political climate of the United States or the most recent National Football League game. Fucking snooze. I would rather debate the worst story arcs of an anime. Story 79. I suck my thumb, but only when my wife gives me a timeout. Story 80. I build detailed Lego models of trains used in the nuclear energy industry and other science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. Some might see them as toys, but I see them as an educational hobby. Story 81. Sleeping with a teddy bear reminds me of the sleepless but joy-filled nights of co-sleeping with our son. Story 82. I play pranks, but I try to keep them harmless. My most recent one was setting up a very obvious fake mouse in a cabinet for my roommate to find. Story 83. Acting very foolish, like Patrick Star or even more foolish. Story 84. I enjoy video games, Lego, and collecting Scooby-Doo and various toys. I love Bluey and watch it even without my grandkids. I like classic Looney Tunes and Disney cartoons. Story 85. I enjoy watching anime, reading manga, collecting solar dancers, and going to concerts. My daughters introduced me to many of these hobbies, and I enjoy sharing them, so it's a win-win. I don't care if anyone thinks it's childish. Story 86. Building and driving my Nitro remote control trucks and cars relaxes me and relieves the stress of everyday life. I have been told many times that it is very childish and that I need to grow up. Story 87. Animation and media. In my opinion, the masses are watching Marvel, and their opinions do not hold much weight. Story 88. Swinging my legs while sitting on a tall chair, sipping a cappuccino. Story 89. I learned how to rollerblade at 50. I am still riding my bike way too fast around corners at 70. Story 90. I finally got a packed case pill organizer a couple of months ago, and my friend doubted it would work, but honestly it has been such a boon. I no longer have the constant stress of wondering whether I took my medication. If you are on the fence about getting one, do it. Just make sure it has enough slots. For me, it was 3 per day. Story 91. My entire life, I have enjoyed clubbing, raving, concerts, roller coasters, parties, and costumes. I am a 50-year-old woman, and I still dance. Men in their 20s and 30s want to buy me drinks. I love my life. Story 92. Watching cartoons from my childhood is relaxing after a taxing workday. Story 93. Watching cartoons and collecting cute things is comforting and honestly a great stress reliever. Story 94. I dress up as a witch to go paddleboarding down a river at Halloween. I also dress up as Santa for a bike ride at Christmas. Story 95. Playing in the playground like a child. Line up for the slide with them so I can have my turn. Story 96. Sometimes I sleep with a stuffed animal. It's comforting to hold something small in my arms. Story 97. Talking in a silly voice, coloring, being too forgiving, dancing, and laughing about everything. Story 98. I participate in live-action role play. I literally play Dungeons and Dragons in real life once a month, and it's awesome. Story 99. Cartoons. I am 27 and still cackle at the early SpongeBob episodes. Tom, Jerry, and Looney Tunes are treasures. Story 100. I still enjoy watching iCarly and Victorious. I'm 31. My dad and I enjoy watching those along with the older Disney Channel sitcoms. Story 101. I wholeheartedly enjoy drawing with chalk on our big driveway with my kids. We did not have a concrete driveway growing up and lived on a road where people drove far too fast. Every once in a while I go out there by myself and use up an entire stick. Story 102. I get extremely excitable. When I receive a surprise or good news, I jump up and down and clap my hands. I am generally an excitable person, but these involuntary reactions are often spoiled by what people say. I am 49. Story 103. I am excited and overly bubbly. When I am serious, people laugh at me, but they call me immature if I make jokes. Story 104. Replaying video games I loved as a kid. Nostalgia points are valuable. Story 105. Solo days at Disneyland are worlds more fun than going with others. Such a great vibe. Story 106. I still love cartoons. Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and Tex Avery. Story 107. I browse stores. If I had money, I would shop, but I like to admire individual items. Sometimes I will pick them up and play with them. It is childish, I know, but I am so extremely poor that it gives me some satisfaction. Story 108. I wear pigtails, braids, and space buns. I read young adult fiction. I write fan fiction. I am a Trekkie and a Whovian. When I was younger, someone in my family called me weird. The way they said it made it sound like a bad thing, so I tried not to be weird. One day I realized I am weird, and it wasn't a bad thing, so I embraced the weird. Story 109. I have an amazing model railroad set up in my basement. I am 59 years old. I got into model railroading in 1977, and I travel all over the United States to ride trains. Story 110. The occasional high-speed run. I can't seem to grow out of that. Sometimes I just have to mash the pedal down. Story 111. As a woman in her mid-20s, I love Lego sets. I never thought I would spend my adult money on them, and I do not regret it. Story 112. I paint dragons, aliens, monsters, castles, and spaceships every day. I am 52 years old and a freelance illustrator of fantasy, science fiction, and horror. I also watch cartoons and anime, play video games, and do not have any children. While I enjoy these as much as I did when I was a child, I do them less often because of limited time and many other interests. Video games especially can take too much time and also cost an arm and a leg nowadays. Story 113. I still go to Weird Al concerts. The last one was a blast. Puddle's Pity Party opened for him. Story 114. I buy so much Hello Kitty stuff because I wasn't able to have any as a kid. My parents were poor, and now I'm making up for lost time. Story 115. Watching SpongeBob is something I will never outgrow. Story 116. I sing simple psalms, camp psalms, church psalms, and so on. My former husband always found this odd. Story 117. Pick my nose. I broke it several times, so it does not ventilate correctly anymore. Story 118. Animal Crossing is extremely relaxing. I am almost 30, and it is keeping me going, but almost everyone has called me childish for playing it. I have loved that game since I was 12. Story 119. I tell crude jokes. People love them. My wife, not so much. Story 120. Stink bombs, or raunchy boom booms as my son calls them. Story 121. I lick my ice cream bowl, run, then jump onto my shopping cart and ride it to my car. Story 122. I am 40 and still watch anime. I enjoy it and do not care what others think. I am an accountant and a department head, and I am a wife and mother of 3. Story 123. Watching old Disney shows like Liv and Maddie or I Didn't Do It. Story 124. Lately, I have been finding the simplest, silliest things and laughing too hard at them. Life is hard and too short. I do not take anything seriously anymore except my health, finances, and my family's well-being. So I will laugh instead. Story 125. Watching the live-action Saturday morning television shows from my childhood. The Bugaloos, the Banana Splits, and HR Pufnstuf. Some are on Tubi and other free streaming services. Also cartoons, mainly Bugs Bunny and Tom and Jerry. Story 126. I am watching Public Broadcasting Service Kids. The shows are comforting before bed. Story 127. I take my plush toys everywhere. To eat, to watch movies, and to sleep. And yes, they are my babies. Story 128. Flying a kite at the park is fun. Kids enjoy the tugging on the kite string. Story 129. I build Lego sets even though I do not play with them. I just display them on my shelf. Story 130. Pokemon cards and video games. Part nostalgia, part cute gameplay featuring fun animals. Story 131. I still collect stuffed animals, carry stuffed animal backpacks, and play with toy instruments because they are so much fun. One thing I heard that really resonated with me was to think about the difference between childlike and childish. That idea freed me to enjoy things that are not commonly considered appropriate for adults and do not hurt anyone. I am living my life the way I want to. Aging does not mean I cannot keep what made me happy as a child. If anything, aging and maturing have shown me that many childhood pleasures were preserved by adults who embraced and valued them. Story 132. I still love stuffed animals and wearing colorful clothes. When I was little, I tried to hide those things because I didn't want to be made fun of for being childish or girly. But now, as an adult, I say fuck it. I'm buying the unicorn plushie and you can't stop me. Story 133. Play trading card games and collect them. Must collect shiny cardboard. Story 134. I watch cartoons and anime, read manga, use coloring books, sketch anime characters, listen to anime music, joke with my son, fall asleep to the sound of thunderstorms, and study to do music. Story 135. Collect plushies or play with sticks as if they were swords, axes, or guns. Classic. Story 136. Paint by number kits have become quite sophisticated and are fun to do. Story 137. I enjoy swinging on a public park swing if I can still fit and do not weigh too much. I always give the swing to a child instead of hogging it. Story 138. Riding motorcycles with my friends. My friends will always be young as long as they ride. Story 139. Coloring. Whenever I've had a really rough day at work as a bartender, I go home, sit down, and color to de-stress. It's lovely. Story 140. I go rollerblading and climb trees with my children. I am 45 years old and enjoy milk and cookies, dunking them as one does. Story 141. My husband and I still build Lego sets. Our kids are in their 20s. Story 142. I know and modify Nerf blasters and I love them. Story 143. Fortnite. I am a 29-year-old woman. I am married and we have a baby. I am not sure why I love it so much. Laughing out loud. Story 144. I play computer games and Dungeons and Dragons. I am 63. Story 145. I have 4 arcade cabinets and 2 pinball machines in my man cave. I'm 59. Story 146. I love Tamagotchi. I have collected them since 1997. I am in my late 40s. Story 147. Lego. I cannot do model kits because of the glue and the paint. I struggle with wood models because I am impatient and often snap an important piece in half with my hem-hock hands. Building a ship, a basket of flowers, or a giant dog out of bricks is time-consuming but not boring. It uses your brain but not so much that you cannot listen to a podcast at the same time. It requires a certain amount of dexterity and follows an orderly set of rules. I am autistic and have anxiety. A good Lego kit is as effective as medication for me. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.